Welcome to the Everyday Podcast.
Today, as every Tuesday, we explore the secrets of psychology, health, and personal development to help you reach your full potential.
And today we're looking at some pretty fascinating strategies for achieving real self-mastery. We've been digging into sources that offer a unique perspective from former U.S. Secret Service agents, actually.
Yeah, looking at how these high-stakes professionals build just incredible confidence and really sharp communication skills.
We're going straight for the core ideas here, and honestly, the first one is, well, it's pretty challenging.
It really is. These sources directly question something that's almost sacred in self-help today, this whole idea of authenticity.
Okay, yeah, let's tackle that right away because it sounds counterintuitive. The Secret Service approach apparently says you should not bring your authentic self to work. My first thought is, isn't that just stressful, like pretending all day?
That's the immediate reaction, right? But it's about how the source defines authentic self. It's not about being fake. It's often framed as that self-focused, kind of impulsive mindset. What's happening to me? What's in it for me?
Ah, okay. So it's less true self and more maybe reactive self.
Exactly. Whereas the professional self is described as respectful, empathetic, competent, but really focused on the mission, the collective goal, and how your actions impact everyone else.
So it's about contributing, being intentional, rather than just reacting based on how you feel in the moment.
Precisely. And there's a really powerful example given. An agent had to interrogate a teenager, a 16-year-old, involved in some truly awful crimes against a very young child.
Oh, wow. Right.
Now, if she'd brought her authentic New York self, as she called it, full of her personal anger, judgment, rage into that room.
The interrogation would have been useless. She wouldn't have gotten anywhere.
Exactly. It would have shut him down completely. She needed that professional neutrality, that composure to get the confession, which was vital to stop any more harm.
So her personal feelings were not just irrelevant, they were actually counterproductive to the goal.
Totally detrimental. It's that key difference. Operating from raw instinct versus operating with clear intention. The professional self is the intentional one.
That makes sense. And this discipline, this intentionality, it seems like it connects to managing our mental resources too, right? This idea of cognitive load.
Absolutely. It leads right into it. There's this great analogy. Think of your brain like a bathtub.
Okay, I'm with you.
It can only hold so much water, right? That's your cognitive capacity. Every decision, every worry, every piece of mental clutter you deal with pours more water in.
And eventually?
Eventually, it overflows. And that overflow looks like inefficiency, stress, making sloppy mistakes, bad decisions, decision fatigue, basically.
So for these high performers, the trick isn't necessarily getting a bigger bathtub, maybe you can't, but it's about actively taking things out.
That's the key insight. Keep the load light. Good leaders, effective agents, they're constantly asking, what can I do less of? What can I automate? What can I just stop worrying about?
That's fascinating. So it's subtraction, not addition.
Right. And think about how this applies to you listening right now. Where are those little drains? The classic example is President Obama.
Ah, yes, the suits.
The 30 identical suits. Why? To completely remove one small decision from his day. What should I wear?
He took that little bit of water out of the tub.
Exactly. So his full mental bandwidth was saved for, actual matters of state, not his wardrobe.
When you frame it like that, choosing your breakfast isn't just about food, it's about preserving energy for bigger things later. That's really efficient thinking.
It's peak professional efficiency.
Okay, so for managing efficiency, let's talk about something that can really sabotage self-mastery. Getting stuck in the past. That sort of powerless trap or victim mindset.
Oh yeah, this is a big one in the sources. It's when the past becomes the explanation or maybe the excuse for present behavior.
Like, I'm messy because my childhood home was chaotic. Or, I can't trust anyone because I was betrayed years ago. Things like that.
Those are the common ones. Now, we need to be careful here, right? This isn't about dismissing real trauma or saying the past doesn't matter. That's not it at all.
Okay, good clarification. So what is the point then?
The point is about denying the power the past holds over your choices today, diagnosing why you might be messy or distrustful. Well, the source calls it a short-term friend.
A short-term friend. How so?
Because it makes sense of how you feel. It gives you a reason, a label. It validates the feeling, which can feel comforting for a bit.
But there's a catch.
There's a big catch.
Yeah.
If that diagnosis becomes your entire identity, I am a distrustful person because of my past, then it becomes a long-term enemy.
Why an enemy?
Because it makes you powerless. If you truly believe your current state is just a result of things that happened to you, then how can you possibly change it? You're basically saying, I'm stuck.
And this can get worse, right? People sometimes get something out of holding on to that pain, like a secondary gain.
Exactly. It sounds strange, but you can get sort of addicted to the benefits of the pain. Maybe it's attention or sympathy, or it becomes your defining characteristic, your identity.
The source mentioned an example, didn't it? The 9/11 worker.
Yeah, a really sobering one, a cleanup worker who was actually only at ground zero for 3 days. But for years afterwards, his entire identity, all his stories, his whole sense of self revolved around that trauma.
Even though it was relatively short exposure.
Right. It suggests he perhaps needed that identity, the heroic survivor narrative, even though it kept him locked in the pain. Letting go of the identity felt maybe scarier than holding on to the trauma.
Wow. Yeah. So the shift needed is to stop the endless why, stop overanalyzing.
Pretty much. Instead of digging constantly into why you are this way, the high performer approach is to ask, okay, this is where I am. Where do we go from here? Conserve that mental energy. Sometimes, the answer is just that person behaved badly. Let's move on, rather than a deep dive into their psyche or yours.
Acceptance of the what is.
Yes. And that acceptance is crucial for the next point. How useless it is trying to change other people.
Oh, this is a big one for relationships. Trying to change someone, especially if they don't see a problem or don't want to change.
The source suggests it's often really about us. It can be an act of arrogance, almost. Trying to impose our values, our idea of how they should be, onto their life.
So we're trying to fix our own discomfort by making them change.
Often, yes. We don't accept them as they are, so we demand they become someone else to make us feel better. And the iceberg concept shows why this is usually doomed to fail.
Okay, the iceberg. Explain that.
You only see the very tip of a person, right? Their behavior, what they say, how they act day to day, that's like 10%.
Right.
Underneath the water is the massive 90%. Their entire history, family, upbringing, traumas, core beliefs, personality traits, their age, everything that shaped them.
And you can't just chip away at that huge underwater mass in a few conversations.
Exactly. You can't fundamentally reshape someone's entire life experience and belief system just because you want them to be different.
There was that example about the marriage consultation.
Yeah.
The wife trying to change her husband's weight.
Yes. Her misery wasn't really caused by his weight. It was caused by her refusal to accept the reality of who he was now. She kept comparing him to who he used to be, trying to force him back into that mold.
Which was impossible. And just creating conflict.
Right. So the actual path forward wasn't nagging him more. It was her needing to adapt internally. She had to face the truth. This is who he is today. And then make a choice.
Can I live with this reality? Can I adapt my life and expectations to fit this truth? Or is this difference now a fundamental deal breaker for me?
Precisely. It's about accepting reality and then making your decision based on that reality. That gives her the power back, rather than trying to force change on him. It shifts the focus from fixing them to choosing your own path.
Okay, that's powerful. Let's switch gears slightly to something everyone wants more of. Confidence. Real strength.
Yeah, and it's interesting the sources point out that the truly confident people, like the SEALs or presidents, the agent protected, they don't really talk about confidence much.
You just embody it. They just are.
They execute. They do. But for you, the listener, if you're actively working on building that inner strength, the material offers 3 really practical boosters, things you can actually start doing.
Okay. Actionable tips. Love it. What's number 1?
Number 1, be a decision maker. Think about law enforcement or military seasoner. They seem confident because they have to make critical decisions, often instantly, with imperfect information.
Life or death sometimes.
Exactly. So confidence isn't about always knowing you're right. It's about trusting yourself to make the best possible call with what you know right now and then owning it. Moving forward without second-guessing yourself into paralysis.
So less asking for permission,
Yeah.
less polling everyone for opinions, just decide and act.
Make the call. That builds the muscle. Okay, number 2 is maybe less obvious but critical. Meticulous inner circle.
Meticulous inner circle, meaning be careful who you hang out with.
Extremely careful. Research backs this up. It's much, much easier for negative, insecure, or low vibration people, as the source puts it, to pull you down than it is for you to pull them up.
That sounds harsh, but probably true.
It requires setting strong boundaries. The source uses a stark analogy. Be careful who you try to save. Someone panicking in the water can easily drown the rescuer trying to help them. Protect your own energy first.
Wow. Okay, so choose your close circle very deliberately. What's the 3rd booster?
Number 3, progress over perfection. This is the killer of procrastination and feeling overwhelmed.
Analysis paralysis. Staring at the huge mountain instead of taking the first step.
Exactly. Don't focus on climbing Mount Everest. Focus only on the very next small, doable step right in front of you.
Like the examples they gave. The runner focusing just on reaching the next tree.
Right. Not the whole marathon. Just get to that tree. Or the person wanting to exercise, the first step isn't buying a gym membership. It's just moving your running shoes 10 centimeters closer to your bed tonight.
That sounds almost ridiculously small.
Almost laughably small. But those tiny, consistent actions build momentum. They prove to yourself you can make decisions and follow through. That accumulation is how you build confidence and achieve big things. Small steps, executed consistently.
Okay, decide, protect your circle, and focus on tiny progress.
Got it. And all this leads into how we actually communicate, right? How we project that command and control.
Yes, the final piece is communication. It's noted that people instinctively trust you less, see you as less competent if you ramble, use too many filler words, or just don't get to the point. Brevity matters.
It's not just what you say, but how you say it, that paralanguage thing.
Huge. Paralanguage, your tone, your pace, your volume often impacts people more than the actual words. Speaking too quickly or in a high-pitched, questioning tone. It signals nervousness, lack of authority.
So what's the fix?
Deliberately slow down. Drop your vocal register slightly. Speak from your diaphragm, not your throat. It sounds more grounded, more authoritative. People subconsciously register that deeper tone as competent and calm.
And physical cues, too, like hand gestures. Absolutely. Using open hand gestures, what they call illustrators, signals honesty and openness. It's a subconscious thing, like showing you have no weapons.
Like from caveman bikes.
Kind of. Whereas hiding your hands, keeping them in pockets or behind your back, is often perceived as untrustworthy. Watch confident speakers. They use their hands effectively to emphasize points and build connection.
Okay, open hands, lower tone. What else?
The ultimate power move, according to these sources, silence. Using pauses effectively.
Silence? That feels awkward sometimes. Like you should fill the gap.
It feels awkward if you lack confidence. Rushing your words, blurting things out, immediately apologizing if there's a pause that screams, I feel like I'm wasting your time, I'm not important.
Okay.
Truly confident leaders own their time. They speak deliberately, they pause. Think again about Obama, those calculated pauses. They weren't weakness. They allowed the message to land, showed he was thinking, commanded attention, and actually reduced the chance of misspeaking. It projects authority.
Slow down, pause, own the space.
Got it.
Yeah.
So bringing this all together, what's the big takeaway for someone listening who wants to feel stronger, more capable?
I think the core message is incredibly empowering. It's that you are capable regardless of past stuff, insecurities, whatever. You absolutely have the capacity for self-mastery.
And the path isn't necessarily more therapy or endless self-analysis.
Not necessarily the only path. The path highlighted here is about intentional action. It's about managing your mental energy, that bathtub, accepting reality, including who other people are, being ruthless about protecting your inner circle, and just focusing relentlessly on those small next steps. You act your way into confidence. You don't wait for the feeling to arrive first.
Move from that reactive, authentic self to the intentional, professional self in all areas of life.
That's a great way to put it. Thank you for walking us through all of that. It's a lot to think about, but really practical. And thank you, our listener, for joining us as we explore these ideas from psychology and personal development. We really hope you feel more equipped to make those intentional choices in your own life.
Absolutely. And if you found this conversation valuable, if these insights resonated, please do hit that subscribe button. It really helps us keep making the show for you.
Please join us again tomorrow when we'll be shifting gears completely to talk about money and investments. Thanks again for listening.